We had one storm drop almost softball size hail yesterday, and that was only one storm. Today, we're going to have many more. Let's talk about who's under the gun for severe weather today in this Wednesday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Good morning, it's Wednesday, the 22nd of May, 2024. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Bully-in-Chief David Reimer. We are expecting a busy day in the Severe Weather Department across several regions of Texas, though without any further ado, let me be clear. Houston, you're not a part of this. Southeast Texas, you're going to be hot, humid, but dry. You don't have to worry about getting hit with storms today or tonight. Not y'all's problem. Further north and west, different story. Let's just get into it. Here's the severe weather outlook for today. Now, before we get into the colors and all the threats, let me be abundantly clear. It doesn't really matter exactly where these lines are drawn. These are probability lines. The higher your risk level, it just means the better chance for more storms or a storm near you. A storm in the level 1 risk, Del Rio, has the same hazards as a storm in the level 3 risk, DFW, meaning big hail, big wind, maybe a tornado threat. Maybe it's a secondary threat compared to the wind and hail. That being said, we do have a level 3 out of 5 risk for several severe thunderstorms today. We could have storms underway as soon as lunchtime into the night. Multiple rounds of storms possible as a boundary, or a front if you prefer, slowly sags south from Oklahoma into Texas. Highest chance for scattered to severe storms: Concho Valley, Big Country, Hill Country, Northwest Texas, Texoma, North Texas, Northeast Texas, the Arklatex, and parts of the Brazos Valley and East Texas. Compared to yesterday, we have seen this expand and shift a bit farther south, now bringing parts of the Hill Country, Central Texas, and the Brazos Valley under the threat of severe thunderstorms. The southern periphery of this risk, mainly this evening and tonight. We're going to get started initially today along the Red River this morning, shifting into portions of the Big Country, North Texas, the Arklatex this afternoon, into Central Texas, the Hill Country, the Concho Valley, the Brazos Valley, parts of East Texas. Let's just say late this afternoon, maybe closer to dinner time into this evening. Strongest storms today. Not all storms are going to be producing these hazards. Not all storms are going to produce these hazards simultaneously, but we could be dealing with storms capable of producing very large to giant hail up to the size of softballs or larger. That's 4 inches in diameter or larger. For what it's worth, a DVD is about the size, about 5 inches in diameter. Hopefully we don't have any of that today, but I can't completely rule it out with the most intense supercells. Storms, especially this evening, if we see storms try to develop into a cluster or any bowing segments, little lines that kind of bow out, could see localized hurricane force winds of 75 to 85 miles an hour. And on the low side, but not zero, the potential for tornadoes. If storms are what we call elevated, or they're north of this boundary or front, they will still be quite capable of hail. Strong winds, but the tornado threat will be lower. Just like I was talking about last week for Southeast Texas, if we had storms staying north of that boundary, or north of a cold front, we'd have hail, some wind, and flooding, but the tornado risk would remain low. The Houston storm was south of that front, and we ended up having hail, extremely strong hurricane force winds over 100 miles an hour, and a few tornadoes. Same thing could happen today, although probably not to the extreme that the Houston storm demonstrated as it moved east and eventually ended up becoming a derecho into the Gulf of Mexico, Louisiana, parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. But again, that's what we're looking at today. Dog, would you like attention? I'm very sorry. Come here. Yeah, I gotta pet the dog now while doing a Texas Weather Roundup. It's only fitting. Oh my goodness. Can I help you? We're just going to keep it going because DAG demands attention. All right, let's take a look at the high-res rapid refresh model for today. This, again, it has storms underway by well, I mean, this morning we may have storms firing up along that boundary across parts of Oklahoma. Late this morning, 10, 11 a.m. through the early afternoon, we could have storms underway across parts of northwest Texas, Texoma, the Arklatex, North Texas. Some of those storms could have hail and strong winds. As we get into the afternoon hours, early to mid-afternoon, we're likely going to see several supercellular thunderstorms materialize. Big Country, Concho Valley, North Texas, Texoma, Northeast Texas, probably near this boundary. Now, I want to emphasize, unlike, maybe some days where we have a strong cold front, storms on either side of this boundary could be severe. We could have storms north of the boundary producing really big hail, storms south of the boundary producing really big hail. Storms south of the boundary, relatively higher tornado threat compared to north of the boundary. Regardless, the storms are going to be rowdy, and as you can see, multiple rounds of storms are possible. We could have one round this afternoon in North Texas with more storms this evening and overnight behind or north of the boundary. Individual storms are going to tend to move off to the east. Some are going to move southeast, especially if we see a cluster develop later this afternoon into tonight. The strongest storms, would start propagating or moving further southeast with big hail, big wind, heavy rain, localized flooding. We note, compared to yesterday's expectations for today, yes, chances have expanded farther south. It looks like we may see storms make it into parts of central Texas, the Hill Country, the Brazos Valley, maybe even parts of East Texas this evening. Yes, that means some of you from Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown, Waco could be under the gun. Metaphorically this evening. Boy, I hope I don't get hit with some sort of a YouTube ouchies for saying golf uniform November, but it's an expression. You can see this model also develops additional storms this evening after sunset as we see the low-level jet, winds above the surface around 5,000 feet increase, providing just enough extra lift to fire off more storms across parts of North Texas into the Arklatex late this evening into tomorrow morning. Those storms, yes, could also have hail. So again, we're going to have multiple rounds of storms really late this morning, through the afternoon, through this evening, potentially into tonight across parts of northwest Texas, Texoma, the Arklatex, northeast Texas, North Texas, the Big Country, the Concho Valley, the Hill Country, central Texas, the Brazos Valley, especially the northern half of the Brazos Valley, into portions of East Texas. If we have multiple heavy storms move over a town or a city or a location, the potential will exist for some pretty hefty rainfall totals and flooding. We're not expecting widespread flooding, but the potential will exist for multiple rounds of storms to produce enough rainfall to cause flooding issues. I mean, it takes one storm over 20 minutes in Dallas to cause flooding. So if we get multiple storms, that's why we're seeing some flood watches issued this morning. So again, strongest storms today, not all storms, but the strongest, could produce baseball to softball size hail, localized hurricane force wind gusts of 75 to 85 miles per hour. The potential will exist for a few tornadoes and flooding rainfall. Things should start to calm down tonight, but again, we're still going to have storms continuing into the late evening and overnight, but they should at least be less widespread than this afternoon and this evening, but they could still be quite rowdy. I mean, you could see this model. It goes yippity-doo, yippity-yay, let's bring a hailer through DFW into the Arklatex at like midnight tonight, which would be great. I mean, sleep. Who likes sleep, right? Clearly not me. That's why I'm bald at 32 years old, coming up on 33. Then, as we go into tomorrow morning, notice, we still may have a few storms, maybe with a bit of hail, in parts of north and central Texas, Brazos Valley, East Texas, into tomorrow morning. And then there is the chance as we go into tomorrow afternoon, into tomorrow evening, we may see additional thunderstorms, probably less widespread than today, develop across portions of North Texas, Texoma, the Arklatex. Storms tomorrow, if we have to deal with this again, could also have big hail, strong winds, maybe a few tornadoes. But if the atmosphere south of the Red River is too worked over from, multiple rounds of storms today and tonight, we may get to forego having issues tomorrow. But Red River, Texoma, to northeast Texas, up into Oklahoma, we're going to have to watch closely. Tomorrow's a pretty rowdy severe weather setup, it looks like, for parts of Oklahoma again. They're under the gun, metaphorically. I really need to find a better word for that. Oh well, it's hump day, deal with it. But we'll have to see. Good news is Friday we're probably going to be okie dokie. Friday may be nap day, and then as we get into Saturday, well, it looks like we could be dealing with some severe thunderstorm issues again. Same areas: Texoma, Northwest Texas, North Texas, Northeast Texas, the Arklatex, up into Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, and Missouri. We'll keep an eye on, Saturday, but that's still 3-4 days away. We don't have to deal with that yet. Forecast rain totals today, Thursday, Friday, and to Saturday morning. So mainly today and tonight to tomorrow morning. The potential will exist for 1 to 4 inches of rain across portions of Texoma, North Texas, Central Texas, the Arklatex, Northeast Texas. And again, it may not be as widespread as what this graphic from the Weather Prediction Center shows. That's more of a regionalized, broad-stroked graphic. There will be localized maximas where, some folks, truthfully, we could see up to 8 inches of rain if we get storms riding like a train on the track and just moving from west east over the same areas. That's where we're going to have flooding issues develop really quick. But that'll be localized with lighter rainfall totals outside those maxima radius or maxima pass, whatever. So again, mostly today, tonight, into Thursday morning, maybe a few storms tomorrow afternoon. Friday, honestly, we may have 1 or 2 severe storms Friday. We'll keep an eye on it, but for now, it looks like we may get to take a nap. And then we get kind of busy on Saturday, perhaps. We'll see. The dry line's going to set up again. Wildfire department west of the dry line, very high to extreme wildfire danger. We've got those red colors like my head after a nasty sunburn across the borderland around El Paso, the Guadalupe Mountains, the Trans-Pecos or the Trans-Pecos, take your pick, down into the Big Bend, the Davis Mounds, the Permian Basin, West Texas, the Panhandle. Yes, wildfire danger is increasing. That's what happens when it's dry, but more importantly, it's hotter than a hot dog, and it's drier than a popcorn fart. So combine all that, it dries grasses out really quick. Temperatures over the next few days, well, guess what? Just pretend it's summer. If it wasn't storming, it'd be summer for everyone. Hello, dog. Are you freaking out? Oh, congratulations. Temperatures this afternoon, 70s to 80s. North of that boundary, Panhandle, West Texas, Northwest Texas, Texoma, the Arklatex. Everyone else, you're either in the 90s or in the triple digits. If you're in the 90s, it's going to feel like the triple digits with the heat with the humidity and the heat index. If you're in the triple digits, well, it's going to feel like the triple digits because you're actually in the triple digits. Tomorrow, well, that little cool front boundary for the Panhandle, West Texas, that goes bye-bye. Y'all are back up in the 90s, local 100s. Looking at 105 Del Rio, 105 Laredo, 104 in Sanderson, probably approaching 100 in San Antonio, 95 to 96 in Austin. Still upper 80s around DFW with some residual cloud cover, maybe some showers in the morning. Hot in Houston and Southeast Texas. Heat index values above 100. Friday looks like another sort of boundary ordeal trying to set up. At least it knocks the Panhandle back into the 80s. Everyone else, you're either in the 90s or you're in the triple digits, dangerously close to 110 Friday afternoon. Del Rio down to Laredo into the Rio Grande Plains, 100 in San Antonio, 97 Austin, 95 DFW. Houston, sitting behind my camera, 94 to 95, heat index values near 105. Hot. It doesn't get any better on Saturday. 110 to 112 in Del Rio to Laredo, 100 to 102 in San Antonio, probably at 100 in Austin on Saturday, 94 to 96 in DFW. Houston, 95 to 96, heat index values 105. Heat index values on Saturday may approach 115 to 120 degrees in Deep South Texas and the Rio Grande Valley. Same goes for Sunday and Monday. Sunday, near record high temperatures across portions of the southern sections of Texas. 107 in Sanderson, 102 San Antonio, 101 Austin, 111 Del Rio, 111 to 112 in Laredo, 105 in McAllen. Houston, Sunday into Monday, you may be dangerously close to 100 degrees with heat index values well above 105, approaching 100 in the DFW Metroplex, up into Northwest Texas, 95 in Lubbock, 92 in Amarillo, 94 in Tyler over to Longview, and again, Heat index values across the eastern half of the state running 10 degrees above the ambient air temperature, or the actual air temperature, meaning, yes, 105 to 110 degrees. It is going to be very hot, and that heat will continue into Monday, Memorial Day. So if it's not storming, we got heat issues, and it is going to be hot this weekend. Welcome to summer, ladies and gentlemen. It's really not that far away. As we go into next week, we may get out of the stormy pattern, but it does look like we may have a bit of a cool front come on in as we get into the first half of next week, which would at least knock us out of the triple digits. We'll see. We're going to be busy today with severe storms. We'll have chasers out and about. We'll have live severe weather coverage if necessary, along with rapid updates on social media. You can get your local weather forecast in the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app, as always. Interactive weather radars, live severe weather coverage, storm chasing videos, and more. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers where you download apps for your device. It is free. You can visit us on the web, texasstormchasers.com/radar, for interactive weather radar on our website. And of course, here on the Texas Weather Center YouTube channel. We'll keep an eye on things, keep y'all updated. Have a great Wednesday. Stay cool. Please don't go outside while it's hailing. Have a good one. God bless.